morning, Gent. My name is Tine. I work for SAP, and I like to run. Before I start my presentation, I would like to ask for your help by a show of hands. On a scale of 1 to 3, 1, 2, or 3, I would like to ask you how fit you are. So, for the people who worked out this morning, who went running, like myself, who have a workout planned tonight, number 3, raise your hand. Are you really fit? Yeah, okay, that's the fit people in the room. Good. Then on that same scale, who are the people in the room at level 1? They'd like to get fit, they understand, but they didn't work out, and they might have a plan in the future. Seems like a good idea for tomorrow. Who are the brave ones there? Yeah, okay, that's very honest of you. So then all of the other hands, who's number 2? Who didn't raise his hand yet? Let me see a show of hands. Voila, you are somewhere in the middle, right? You know it's important. You're gonna get there, and you're making some exercise. Now let me ask you that same question. On a scale of 1 to 3, how digitally fit are you? How digitally fit is the business environment in which you work? The company that you work for, the company you own, or the client you are serving right now? Who can show me a 3? Who says, I am one of these very early adopters, I'm digitally fit? Raise of hands. You are the ones running in front. Keep on going. Then, on the scale of 1 to 3, who is at the 1? Who says, if Evi Gruyaert brings out a start to get digital, I would buy the damn thing because I need to learn? Some people new to the topic? Of course. Welcome. Let's learn about it. So can I see all other hands? Who's at 2? Somewhere in the middle, just like myself. And that is why a day as today here in Ghent is so important. Let's share experiences. Let's learn more from each other. Let's get digital fit. If you want to do this self-scan a bit more in detail, because we did it rather quickly, then I welcome you to go onto our webpage, digitalfitness.be, where you can answer a few questions. It will take you 5 to 10 minutes. A typical question building on the topic just mentioned now is, when you hire new people, do you check their affinity by working in a digital environment? Typical question you could find in the survey. So I encourage you to go there and to find out on that scale where you are at and learn from your peers. For my presentation today, I would like to add a bit of color on what Stan presented to you on digital transformation. And I will do that in the context of SAP. I will do that by showing you a few customer cases that elaborate on the digital transformation, that show you how they managed it, how they transformed and reimagined. First on SAP. SAP is the global leader on business applications. The vast majority of our business applications right now are offered as public cloud solutions. We offer them to many companies, great companies, large great companies, but also, like here in the room, small great companies. We offer these business applications based on a Hana in-memory real-time data platform. We have the data live in real time to work with. And we cover, since 43 years, 24 industries, sport and entertainment as one of the newest one on that 24. Based on all that industry knowledge, digital transformation for us means to reimagine. It means to reimagine the business models which companies are using. And I'm taking you back to the visual that I showed at the very beginning of my presentation, which actually is the page of a company, a US-based apparel company, sports apparel, Under Armour. You might know it. They make sports clothing, shoes, T-shirts, what have you. I had the pleasure to meet with the CEO of Under Armour, Mr. Kevin Plank, cool guy. And the biggest challenge of Mr. Plank until 2 years ago was sweat. The sweat of his customers. And Mr. Plank actually was very good at handling that challenge. He could take care of the sweat. Now what happened? He saw that his customers were no longer buying the t-shirt as such, were no longer interested in the sweat. He saw them coming into the store with their Polar, with their Sunto watch, with their mobile phone, having all the statistics on how they were running, on how they were doing. And he said, okay, my world is changing. What should I do? Should I sell my expertise on sweat to the technology companies so that they can merge the mobile phone and all that data with the t-shirts? Or should I start to embed the technology in my t-shirt? He chose the latter one. He chose the second option. And he started to embed software. He is embedding software in the Under Armour gear. He did a second thing. When he started the project with SAP, he acquired a company, a startup app called Endomodo, which is a fitness and food tracking application. He took Endomodo and he built that into a platform that by now has 160 million users in the community. The combination of the software in his clothing and that community gives him now full data, big data information on what his users, what his customers are doing. Two business advantages. The first one, he has an enormous customer base, and he can sell this customer base to other brands who are cross-selling to his same customers. He makes money out of that. Second thing that he has, his data, his information on what drives these customers, on their behavior. He developed a predictive capability to project what they will be needing in the future. And that means for Under Armour, a complete stop of stock rupture. They know what they need to have in store, by when, what will be selling to whom. Fantastic to his results. If you ask me the business results, I can quote you the results of their Q1 in 2016. They are on a tremendous growth, net revenue growth of 30%, 30% growth in a highly competitive environment. So that is how SAP and Under Armour reimagined the business processes outside of the traditional industry that Mr. Planck was in. A second way we see digital transformation is on reimagining business processes. And for that, I want to take you to the homeland of SAP, which is Germany. We are a German-based company. I want to take you to Hamburg. Hamburg is a beautiful city. I highly recommend to visit it. And Hamburg, just like Ghent, has a port. The port of Hamburg is kind of squeezed. It's squeezed geographically between the water. I mean, you need that for a port, so that's where the geography ends on one side. And on the other side, you have this beautiful city. Interesting to know is that the port of Hamburg is the second busiest port in Europe, and on the world scale, they're number 15. What do ports do? Ports want to grow, they want to develop their business. So they needed to expand, they needed to develop, but geographically, you see, they're squeezed, they can't go anywhere. So they decided, together again with SAP, to change the way their business process is structured. They decided to increase the capacity and the speed by which they can have the cargo, by which they can have the process going. How did they do that? They created a business process that has an end-to-end coverage, including all the different business partners that they have in the harbor, from people who provide the facilities, transportation companies, what have you. All of them in an end-to-end supply chain or logistical process. What did they do? They gave access to the real-time traffic information, to the real-time information on what is happening, traffic, cargo, in that port, on a real-time platform, to all of them. Via a user-based access, each of these companies gets information to that unstructured, or gets access rather to that unstructured data. What does it do? Well, it gives everybody at the same time information about the logistical process in the harbor, in the port. The business outcome, I talked about the capacity and I talked about speed. On capacity, they have doubled the capacity, the cargo that they can handle on an average day. On speed, difficult to give you some information. If you know that they have saved 5 minutes per truck per tour in the harbor, and if you know that 40,000 of these trips are happening on an average day, well, on that average day, they gained 5,000 hours. Now, that is what you call speed in a port. So to them, a magnificent business outcome by reimagining their business process. As a last example, I would like to reflect or to take it back to my business. I am the COO here in Belgium at SAP. And as a COO, my biggest challenge up to last year was the time and the effort spent by my team on analyzing historical data and on planning the models for future growth of our sales. We spent hours and hours. So what did I do? I implemented the digital boardroom, SAP's digital boardroom, of which you can see a picture here, that actually helps me to work with that data. It gives all of my coworkers and all of my colleagues a real-time data platform. We all look at the same data live, and it gives me the capability to make simulations to predict the future. What if that 1 million deal does sign next week? What does it do to my profitability? What if I add demand generation and I go to WebTomorrow and I add 10,000 new leads for 2017? What does it mean to my headcount planning, etc.? So that's the digital boardroom. By the way, I invite each one of you to come and visit us in Brussels at SAP offices there to see that digital boardroom in action. These as 3 examples, 3 cases from the SAP reference wall on what digital transformation means to us. Now, first back to you. I introduced a study, remember, digitalfitness.be, and I want to share some results of that study, just like Stan, with you. We did the survey end of 2015. We invited 200 C-level contacts to answer these questions, and there's 4 main outcomes that I can share with you today. First of all, we noticed that the topic is relevant to all of them. 4 out of 5 stated that, yes, they plan to invest into innovative technologies which they associate with digital transformation. On a global scale, exactly the same findings. 90% of the CEOs believes that digital transformation will have an impact on their industry. So that's cool. Zooming into that same group of people interviewed, 1 out of 4 sees this year, 2016, as the year that digital transformation will become real to them, that they will start working on it. So 1 out of 4, also probably in this room, sees 2016 as the year that it will happen. Interesting finding then is to see why. And I'll take you through the results. Most of them saw the driver as cutting costs. A lot of them found that they wanted to stay ahead of competition, so the external factor really is seen as an impact. Becoming more profitability was mentioned as number 3. Only behind that, people thought about selling more to the existing customer, discovering new markets, or being in line with regulations, norms, etc. If you ask me, this is not evolution, this is not transformation, this is more an improvement or an optimization. So I agree with what Stan just said. It's that this is not seen as real, as live, as happening right now. This is seen as something we need to get into. And it makes sense. Because one of the outcomes as well of our survey was that 75% of the IT budgets in 2016 at these companies are there to keep the lights on. 75% is not invested in building the future, it's on running the current. So it makes sense. Now, I had a raise of hands in the beginning of some people who have invested, who are digitally fit, and 15% of the companies we interviewed in the survey also mentions that. They mentioned even 11% even think that their industry, their performance is even better, is more advanced than looking on an international scale at other companies. These ones are the early runners. These ones are the ones to follow and to use as an example. And one of them is here with us today. It's a Belgian company based here in Ghent called Delaware. Probably the crew is here in the room. Delaware is a professional services company that it's 155 million euro turnover, 1,300 co-workers, consultants helping clients today. Delaware is a company that wants to grow their future by international expansion and by going to the cloud for all of their customers. So last year, they decided to jump. They have decided to start running their core application that runs their enterprise in the cloud. They invested in SAP Suite for Hana, Cloud Edition for professional services, and they optimized, they simplified together with SAP in a co-innovation project, their enterprise application. Why do I mention co-innovation? Well, very importantly, as said by the earlier presenters, this is not something that Delaware decided to do on their own. This is not something where they have one monolithical application. They know that they need to build a platform for the future that allows them to very flexibly add new solutions, new business functionalities to enhance the business processes, to enhance their business model when the time is right. To do so, they are using the HANA Cloud platform to build these applications. More on that later. So to conclude on the 4 elements that I gave you from the study, you can read about them in the little book that we published. If you take the survey online or if you go to our booth, you can pick up a copy of the book, giving you the findings on these Belgian companies, on what they see and how they see digital transformation. One more word about HANA Cloud platform. I mentioned to you that SAP is a global business applications leader, and we want to take our customers to the age of the agile business application. The way we do that is by building or having built the HANA Cloud platform that allows our customers to extend their current infrastructure with new business applications on that platform, because yes, we want to reward people who have invested, companies that have invested for many years in building up their IT infrastructure. The platform allows as well to integrate whatever application, whoever builds it, whoever runs it, doesn't matter, one open platform, and allows to integrate different business applications. And last but not least, it is also an agile platform that allows for new startups, many of you here in the room, to build their own applications and to position them to the SAP ecosystem, to these customers, to the ecosystems out there. One of the last examples that I want to give you, or last customer cases, is Danone. I actually thought about Danone when I picked up my bottle of water to go running. Danone, or Evian in this case, helps me to run better, and SAP helps Danone to run better. What was the challenge for Danone? Danone is a customer-oriented company, but actually the link between them and their customers is quite long, it's quite difficult. What is the challenge? Well, somehow they need me to pick up that bottle of water instead of another one. So how to get to these customers? They decided to have a mobile app developed for customers, a very sexy, very online, very nice application. Not so special, I hear you. Yes, indeed. But the way they did it is quite special. Danone, you can imagine, big company, has quite a large IT department. The CIO, also a nice person, was really catched in this infrastructure. And to build this application, he used the Hana Cloud platform, and he gave that Hana Cloud platform to his IT department. The IT department didn't have to make big plans. There was no IT budget discussions or whatever ongoing anymore. It took them a little more than a month, 60 days, to build this agile app that was connected to the backend, that used the data in the backend, and that could put in new data coming in from this app into their backend systems, because that was important. 60 days, no pre-investments, pay as they go, had the platform, started the developers, and off they went. Actually, when you listen to the recorded testimonial, it's quite funny in the end. The CIO says, well, my biggest challenge right now is to keep my developers with their feet on the ground, because now we have pop-ups of these little apps all over the place. So now I need to have a future guidance. I need to define what my future will be, rather than facilitate the building of it. A very nice reference case, I find myself. And just like Danone, and just like a lot of you and Delaware here in the room, we have 3,000 startups who already joined the SAP Startup Focus program, who are developing on the Hana Cloud platform and who are building the future, who are helping companies to really embrace digital transformation. With that, I already am at the end of my story today, where I told you how, for me and for SAP, digital transformation is the reimagination of the business models, the business processes, and the way we work and collaborate together. I told you a lot about Hana Cloud Platform and encourage you to find out and start working with it as of tomorrow. I encourage you to go to digitalfitness.be, take the self-scan, take the test there, and get the book to read on the findings. And I also like to ask you to start following me on SAP Belgium or at Cucetine, and to start running, like SAP helps companies to run simple. Thank you for your attention.